it still says episodes. Oh no, it changed.
Yeah, it
There it
changed.
is.
There it is. Okay, we can actually be live now. Now,
Okay, great. That's
welcome
exciting.
everybody. Welcome. Or wait, here, wait. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this like weird cold intro. Okay.
Okay, let's get weird.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Matt.
How's it going?
Not too bad. I'd like to welcome everybody to Unratified, a Civic Revival. Our This is season one, episode one of our new podcast
Yes,
and live stream.
definitely. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. You didn't let me finish though. I wanted to go. How's your mom and them? See,
Or be like Mark Wahlberg and hey, how's your mother doing?
no, it's yeah, it's we're obviously going to be getting worse and worse as we go along with the intros. Um, try to
That's the
keep
goal,
it
right?
try to keep it horribly weird. Okay, so yeah, like Josh said, episode one, season one. If anybody has already watched our intro that we did, you kind of get a little lowdown as far as what we're doing. So you would know if you watched that episode or watched us on YouTube or went to our Reddit. You would know that what our conversation is going to be about today. Do you know what it is, Josh? Did you do any of those things?
Well, well, I guess I'll talk for the people that maybe are just first joining in, and
Okay.
this is their first time here. And so this first episode is going to be about the preamble of the Constitution. We're going to be having a discussion about what it is, what's in there now, what it meant, what it means today, what the significance of it is, and you know, hopefully how we can change it, how we can make it better, and how we can make it a more inclusive for everyone.
So, in case anybody, uh, hasn't hasn't seen our Reddit post, here's the Reddit post on season one, episode one of the preamble, which goes over essentially what the full text is, kind of the historical context, and even gives you some key questions for discussion. Please go over to Reddit, have a conversation, talk about it. There is one thing that we are going to be enforcing on all of our platforms is we are going to keep the discussion on topic. We are here to talk about specific things, and we want to keep it about those specific things. We're not trying to go off on down some rabbit hole or tangent or anything like that. It's about you know discussion amongst peers and constituents so that we can have a conversation about specific things. So please respect that, respect each other, and we can jump into this. So a couple things, and I know that I unfortunately showed Josh the cat earlier, and what was in the bag, and I apologize, Josh.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get an
Oh,
authentic view from from Josh as far as what I was trying to do earlier, but we'll do our best. But just to go on what the preamble is, I'm sure that most people know a few things. Probably don't know the full text, but the full text of it is: "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Now, little little context: the preamble holds no weight, doesn't grant any powers or rights to anybody or anything. It's essentially the thing that every person hates. It's that overall summary statement of the document that you just had to write the 30-page paper for school, and you're like, what the hell do I put in this first part to summarize what I just spent, a couple hours or a couple weeks, it depends on you who you are, writing this up and filling it with stuff that I probably don't believe myself. But so this context is literally just a summary and saying what the document is for. There's no guaranteed rights. There's no saying that anything has to be given. It just gives a summary of the document, and that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind about this part. When we get into the articles, when we get into the different parts of the Constitution that grants rights or grant certain powers, that's different. The preamble does none of that. Now, you have anything to add, Josh, before
Um, I no, I think I'm well. Nothing, nothing in that vein.
I? Okay.
I don't think. I think you covered it pretty well.
All right. So, and Josh, I don't know if you have the stream up, but I have I have the Reddit post up that I posted a few days ago that has all of the that has all the text and all of this information in it that I'm covering here. Um, but there, if you look down at the first post down there, I posted um, Supreme Supreme Court cases that reference the preamble, and it's really interesting how the preamble is used legally within the court system and in different cases. So the context around it, and you have to look at some of the parts of the preamble about promote general welfare, secure blessings of liberty, and those types of things that a lot of people feel hold weight on, like, oh well, it says this right in the preamble, but it doesn't give that power. It's just saying that it wants to do those things. So the funny thing is, all of those little statements: more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty, all of that stuff. There is only one of those that actually appears in any part of the Constitution in a quote unquote giving power or giving a description of those statements. And that is to promote the general welfare. Nothing else is in the full text of the Constitution except that statement. Um, and it was used in a court case, Ellis versus City of Grand Rapids, um, and it was promoting the general welfare cited to support public health as a valid public use. It's really interesting the way that um, some judges have been able to look at this and say, okay, it doesn't come right out and say certain things, but it does give meaning to some parts of the Constitution. Um, this is one of them. Martin versus Hunter's Lacey is the court referenced the preamble to affirm the Constitution was established by the people who could limit state powers. The whole thing, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. That is what they say. That first part of the preamble is what they're using. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, gives the people the rights over the states, essentially. But yeah, this is some really interesting reads. I recommend that you go through and look at some of these and just kind of see how the courts have used the preamble. It's really interesting. Josh, have you? I don't know if you have.
I've looked over a couple of these cases. As you were going through this, I think the question I was asking myself is, so if the preamble holds no weight, then why are we even bothering? Why are we discussing it? Why are we trying to summarize what we're doing? And then the other, I guess, a little bit more existential question I'm asking myself is like it. So what are we going to try and summarize? What are we going to try and change as far as what we're trying to accomplish and what we're doing.
No, those are all fantastic questions, and you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things that, as we were taking on this project, and as we kind of delve more into it and get more into the nitty gritty of different things and trying to understand what we're looking at and what we're trying to accomplish, um, those are the things that I'm asking myself as well. And I think that everybody that's involved in this, you have to do the same. Is okay. Well, if it doesn't have any power, then what the hell does it matter? And this is where it matters, because if you go and you look at the nuances in these cases, it's especially that first part, in order to create a more perfect union. But all of those pieces give sort of, okay, we can look at the other parts of the Constitution, and we want to say, well, what does this mean? What is the, if we need to find an interpretation about something, what is the overarching meaning of them doing this, of them saying this? And then that goes back to the preamble. Um, we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union for these reasons, this is why we're writing this document. It's not giving power to anything, but it's giving purpose to those things, so that you can't just say, oh well, yeah, in the Constitution it says, you know we can tax people. Okay, well, why are we taxing people? What's the purpose of taxing people? That's where the preamble comes in. And that's the interesting part about this, that if there wasn't a preamble and it was just a list of things, I think that the purpose of those laws could then be misconstrued, if that gives any context around that. So I think as we look to, and this is the cool thing, and Josh, I don't want to speak for you, but
Mm.
I'm not looking to change everything about the Constitution. That's not the purpose of this. I'm not looking to say, oh well, it's scrapped. We need to start fresh. We need to do it. Looking to see from precedents how we can take what has already been interpreted, has already been used, has already been put out there, and how can we make that, how can we refine it? How can we tweak it? How can we make it better? I don't want to scrap the whole computer, to stick with the IT analogies. I want to figure out, do we need to add more memory? Do we need a processor upgrade? Is this computer just not suited for the job that it's doing? And do we need to add another computer? Do we, how do we tweak it? Is there too much software? Hey, well, you're trying to do 40 things on this computer. It's only meant to do two or three. Do we need to limit what this has the ability, what we're running on this? So that is more so, and from the preamble purpose, I think the preamble is almost like the purpose of, if we take that correlation, what is the purpose of this document? What are we trying to accomplish? Because the rest of the document is just, this is how this is done. This is how this is done. This is how we do this. This is the way this is supposed to be done. But it doesn't give a purpose behind it. It doesn't give a why. And I think that's where the preamble comes into play, is it is the why of the Constitution.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. What you're trying to say, like, and I agree with that. Like, using it as the why, and I guess maybe using it as a guideline too, right?
Mm-hmm.
As its own check and balance against everything else that's going into the Constitution. If you're looking at it from, you mentioned precedents and stuff like that, or when you're trying to make a decision, or trying to decide if something belongs in the Constitution or not. You go back to the preamble and say, okay, well, where does it fit inside this summary? Where does it fit with what we're trying to accomplish? Like where you were talking about, taxing the people. Well, the government needs money to run. They
Mm-hmm.
need they need resources, to provide defense and yeah, to do other things that we decide the government may or may not meet, may or may not need to be doing. So yeah, using it as a guideline, as a litmus test, I think that makes a lot of sense. The the thing I'm thinking about now, and you know, and thinking about the words that are currently in the Constitution, and they're like I was amazed that there's only 52 words in the preamble. It's short, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's powerful stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it resonates with a lot of people, but it's also ambiguous.
Yes.
And so because a more perfect union, I bet if you ask 50 people on the street, what does a more perfect union mean to you, you're going to get 50 different answers.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, and then going back to the precedence thing, that's those are human beings that made those precedents as well. Probably very, very intelligent human beings, but at the same time, their own needs, their own wants, their own understandings of how the world should work and how society should function. And so they can take those words in the preamble and they can uh, they can change the definitions of words. They can tweak them a little bit, and I think it leaves a lot of room for too much room for interpretation, I would say.
Okay. So from a perspective of what could change about it would be a little more certainty or a little bit more clarification or something of that nature. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I'm thinking of a situation. I was having a discussion with a friend um, that turned into a little bit of an argument. She was asking me what I needed and what I wanted in a relationship, and what we ended up not being able to agree on. As I looked at her, I was like, look, we have differing opinions on the word need and what the word want means. And until we clarify that, and we come to an agreement on that, like I don't feel like we can have this discussion. And she could not jump off the boat of like, no, this word means what it means. It means what I think it means, and that's it. And so like for me at that point, the discussion around it was sort of over because if we can't agree on the premise, how do we move forward from that? Um, how do we agree on anything else when we can't agree on what those words or what those definitions mean? So yeah, more clarity around that and more shared understanding. I guess universal truth. Find something along those lines, something that we can all agree means the same thing. But I don't know how we do that. And I know that's a tall ask, even as I'm saying it.
Well, I mean, no, but you're 100% right because, what does domestic tranquility? What does that mean? Domestic
Yeah,
tranquility.
yeah, those are big
Well,
words.
I mean, we could take and we could do a search on tranquility to to define tranquility and the quality or state of being tranquil, calm. Tranquil means free from disturbance, calm. Well, what does disturbance mean? The interruption of a settled and peaceful condition. So, if we're going to talk about ensure domestic tranquility, so we're going to ensure the, wait a second, let's free from, we're going to, okay, let me put all this together here. The
Mhm.
quality, okay, so copy, and then if we do, let's see, how do I add a page here? So if we're talking um, the quality or state of being tranquil. Okay, and then tranquil is free from disturbance. So if we take that, free from the quality or state of being free from disturbance, which is the interruption of a settled or peaceful condition. So if we want to go down and we want to go down this rabbit hole of what tranquil means. So do we, instead of saying tranquil, in the first part to where ensure domestic tranquility, do we go out and say ensure domestic quality of state of being free from the interruption of a settled and peaceful condition? But then you go down the lines of, okay, well, what is being interrupted? What is a settled and peaceful
Yeah.
condition?
Yeah.
So and I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and
Needs and want.
I've met people that are never in a settled and peaceful
Exactly,
condition.
exactly. I mean,
So,
you
like,
look at a lot of people. The the idea of being settled and peaceful, and what is interrupting them from being settled and peaceful. Um, it could be many different things.
yeah.
You're doing your job and you get an irate customer that comes in. Well, they're interrupting your domestic tranquility, right?
Right.
Right? They're coming in
Yeah.
losing their mind over something. It's like, hey, bud,
Yeah.
you're violating my preamble
Yeah.
domestic
Right. My
tranquility.
preamble rights. Yeah.
Well, no, they're not rights.
Yeah.
Remember, they're
Yeah.
just
Because you didn't put
wants.
cheese on their hamburger, like
It's, I can
flipping
get
out on you.
I can get some cheese, man. We'll put
Yeah.
that on
Right.
there. I
It's gonna
wanted
be
it done
okay.
right the first time. No, but so that's one of those things, and just like you said, a need versus want. Okay, well, I need to have 10 houses and 3 yachts. I need it,
Yeah.
right? I,
Yeah.
I need I
And
need to
maybe
have
some
five
people do.
cars.
I don't know, man. Like, but you know,
Those aren't wants; those are needs. I
yeah.
need to have a
Well,
thousand acres of
and some people
land
believe that.
so that I can
Yeah.
do what I want. I need to have the ability to dump my trash in this river.
Right.
So
Yeah.
where did when
I
you just like you said, needs and wants.
well, and the argument that I was having with her was that, like, so if you look at the definition, like Webster's definition of need, it's basically something if you did not have, you could not survive without it.
Uh,
So
it
I believe it's
requires
something on
something
those
because it
lines.
is
Let me.
essential or very important. Expressing
Okay, so I'm
necessity
wrong on
or
that.
obligation. Well,
So
that's a
that
verb. That's the
yeah.
verb.
So but that and that's my own personal interpretation. Like, I
Yeah.
need to breathe air. I need to defecate. Like, because if I don't,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna die.
okay. So we're basing needs on not dying.
That's how I look at it.
Okay. So well, I know. I mean, and that's a
I
great
mean,
that's a great question because again, need for what? What requires you to need something? Well, I need a car to get back and forth to work, right?
yeah, yeah,
Unless there's
and
public
existentially, I
transportation
think that
or I
I
work
think
from
that's accurate.
home or I take a walk or I have a bike or I don't need a car, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
I need
I
a
get
I
what you're
need a
saying.
helicopter to get to work,
Yeah.
right?
Uh, I would place the need at I need to go to work and say
But do you?
because if I don't go to work, I don't make and I don't make money, I lose my house, and then I'm out on the street, I freeze to death and die, and
Okay,
I
so
can't
so
buy
wait a
food.
second. So wait a second.
Yeah,
So you're saying that a job is a need.
I would say in income and resources are a need.
Okay, well that's different than a
You know,
job. So you don't need a
sure.
job. You need
If,
income. But
yeah,
do you need income if somebody is providing you with all those things?
no,
Okay.
no, I don't think you
So
do. Uh,
I mean, this is why I love talking, especially to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need an income if somebody is providing those things for you.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you would
If they're
need.
providing those resources that you need to survive, I guess I would look at it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs from that perspective, and where you look at that bottom level where I think it's like food, shelter, warmth. There's a few other ones in there, and because if you don't and those are the needs that you have to sustain first, because if
The
you don't, you
physiological,
die.
the
Yeah,
most basic physiological: food, water, warmth, and sleep.
yeah, yeah. And so if you don't, if you if you don't get yourself those resources, those things that you need to survive, you are going to die.
Here, wait a second. Let's do this. See if it. Oh, there we go. So, okay, so just so we show it on the stream here, Maslow's hierarchy of needs: you have physiological, you have safety, you have love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So the basic ones being physiological, the most basic level: food, water, warmth, and sleep. So, and I love how we're not like the fact that this conversation has gone from the preamble
Yeah,
to
yeah.
needs and
It's
wants
steered off course. We
to,
should probably
but hey, we're going to bring it back. So,
yeah.
because you need to have these conversations to justify the the basis of what you're putting, like what you're saying, right? Like
Well,
when you say establish justice, well, what the hell does justice mean? You
yeah.
know, just
Well,
like we said, domestic tranquility. What does that mean? Common defense, general welfare. I mean, general welfare. I mean, that's a big word, welfare.
yeah,
Blessings of liberty. That's even worse. What the hell's a blessing of
yeah.
liberty? So if we look at the basic physiological needs, and I don't know if Maslow is correct in this. I mean, he could be wrong. Food, water,
He
warmth,
seemed
and
like a
sleep.
pretty smart guy when I was studying him.
I
You
mean,
know.
there's a lot of people in this country that would argue that those aren't. You don't need all of those things. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you don't need
I
warmth.
mean, well, and now I'm asking
Yeah,
myself the question is like, can we even have the discussion? Because it's when you walk into a debate, right? There's certain premises that you all kind of that everyone kind of agrees upon. I like it's been a long time since I've been in a debate class or anything like that, but like there's a premise and you all have to agree on said premise
yeah,
in order to have the argument.
yeah.
Um, and so I guess my thought is how do we and really the preamble in my head now I'm thinking the preamble is the premise, and so if we all can't agree on the premise, um, can can what's the point of writing the rest of the document? And maybe we can't please everybody. Maybe the you have
Everybody
to look
doesn't
at it
need
from the
warmth.
perspective.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't please everyone. Some people just aren't going to be able to sleep, right?
yeah. The
No water for some people. We just, you know. I no, but
yeah,
and the thing
right,
is
yeah,
it's like I can say these things tongue in cheek, like
yeah,
we don't need to provide those things to people. We just need to provide the ability for people to obtain those things. We don't actually. It's not quote unquote the government's job to provide those things to people, right?
And see, I don't know the answer to that right now either. Because
And
and if you had asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said no, absolutely not. Um, I don't think it's the government's job to provide those things. But I mean, looking at everything that's going on in society, looking at all the wealth that's out there, and the
the
man,
ability.
look,
Let me. I know what
if
you're
the
saying,
gut.
but
So
the
I guess the question
ability to
is,
provide those things. That's I
yeah,
think that's the thing. If we're talking 1787, you got people that are out in the mountains. Like, how the hell can the government provide
Sure.
anything to those people that it might take 2 or 3 months to get out to them. It's not like they're like, but the thing was, is you had a lot more quote unquote freedoms, if you want to call them that. I would call them abilities. You had the ability to do a lot more things back then than you did now, because there was nobody around you. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to, dig a hole or take water out of the stream, or if you wanted to, however you wanted to obtain said things, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to obtain those. You cut down a bunch of trees, you build yourself a cabin. Who's good? Nobody's going to do anything unless they come by and shoot you or kill you. I mean, then
Yeah.
you don't
Say,
need
hey,
it.
that's my land, or that's
Yeah,
my livestock, or
yeah, but
what,
at that
and
point,
I'm gonna take it from you.
yeah, but at that point, once you're dead, you don't need all those things. So the government doesn't have a responsibility to you. So um, that is that is one of those things that now, with where we are as a society now, can those things be provided in a way that makes sense, in a way that is that is possible, I guess you could say. Like you said, with all of the technology, with all of the wealth, with all of the capabilities, we still have people that don't have plumbing, don't have running water, that don't have whatever. Like,
We got homeless
is
people out on the street that can't get themselves to an emergency room. You
yeah,
know, that are just lost, and they have no
I
idea
mean,
how to navigate society.
I don't even want to say emergency, but just how are they going to get food? How are they going to get their next meal?
Right.
How are they going to get? It's for some people, it's
Well,
probably
and
easier for them to find something that makes them not have to worry about those things than it does for them to actually go get that.
and I guess the question,
Drugs, in case nobody
yeah,
caught the
yeah,
correlation there.
right. And I guess the question becomes, do we have a responsibility to those people? Like, do we as society have a responsibility to those people in this day and age of technology, all this wealth, all of all of these things at our fingertips? Do we is that our job as a society, as a or a government to to help those people? I
I, why?
I mean, I feel like I do. Me personally, I'm not
But
going to put that
but
on
why?
anybody else,
But why?
because I don't think it's okay to just walk by somebody who's suffering that I
But they got themselves
that I
there.
feel right.
I mean, come on, man. It's the easiest
I
argument.
hate you.
It's
I,
it's it's 100% the easiest argument. They did it to themselves. So why is it my responsibility to do anything for them when they put themselves there? I mean,
I mean, I
now, now,
guess
now. Okay, let me quantify that. That is a really, really horrible take to have on something because it's not necessarily their fault. Okay, but
I
everybody has a personal responsibility to themselves. So the easiest argument to make for somebody that is in that position is, well, they got themselves there. It's their job to get them out, not anybody else's. That's the easiest argument. I'm not saying it's the right one.
yeah, agreed. Um, I guess I would say then, or I would look at that and say, the first question I'm going to ask is, did they get themselves there themselves, like, or all by themselves? Sure, they made choices inside of that,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't make those choices in a vacuum. Um,
Maybe
and
they did.
and
Maybe they lived in a vacuum.
well, then they'd be dead because they wouldn't be breathing air.
I, you
Because
know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's terrible.
um, and I mean, I hate to try and prove an argument with it, or add in another argument, but to me, that's the same argument that of the billionaire that looks at everybody and says, "Well, I made all this myself. I I got here on my own."
Okay.
And
So
um,
so I understand what you're saying. So if we look at this from a perspective, just kind of, if you look at this as far as steps, the bottom floor is your what? Homeless people, your people that don't have a place. Your next step up is your person barely making it, barely getting by. Your next step is doing all right. Next step, next step, next step. And you got the people at the top of the staircase going, "What's taking you guys so long? Why can't you get up here? Like what? Why do I
Well,
need to help you? I walked up these
as they're pulling
steps.
the ladder out,
No, these are
as they're
steps,
pulling
not
the ladder
ladder,
up with
not
them.
ladders, not
Okay.
ladders, steps,
All right. Well, okay.
steps.
As they're throwing tacks on the stairs,
Eh,
or nails or
I mean,
whatever impediment you wanna throw in there. You know.
well, it's not. Up at the
And
top of the stair,
and
the
I'm not
top
saying
stair
that
is very
every rich
tiny.
person is
It's
doing that.
it's very very tiny. It's a very tiny stair. So
Yeah.
if somebody else comes up there, somebody might fall off. So
Yeah.
so you gotta make sure that only certain people get up to that small tiny top
Yeah.
step, right?
Right.
Do, so
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
so the question is do you make the top step bigger? What how do you solve
I don't. I
how
don't
how
think you
does that
have to, man. I mean, that's a really interesting question. I've never thought about it from that perspective before. I
So,
don't.
let's bring this back around. Let's bring this
Sure.
conversation back around. The preamble, the purpose, the
Yeah.
why of the Constitution, domestic tranquility. Well, as long as all the people down the steps are happy, what does it matter? Why do they need to be up here? General
I don't think they
welfare,
do. I don't think that everybody does need to be up there. And I don't think there needs to be an equality on the level of like, oh yeah, everybody should have millions of dollars. And I don't think the people that go out and achieve and do great things, they should absolutely get something for that achievement and work hard and do all those things. I don't it but when it's at the expense of the people at the bottom and in the middle, like that's where I draw the line. That's where I have the problem. So
okay,
as far as so if someone is taking tranquility away from somebody else in that, I guess is where I feel there's in my heart there's an injustice being done, and there's a
injustice. Okay,
um,
and we need to establish justice. That's what it
that
says in
is
the preamble.
true. Eh,
So, so it's not so much of I've done forgot how I was going to say it now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me bring myself back to that.
yeah, yeah. So I was thinking about something from a human perspective that I don't think that I think is being said in the preamble, but I don't know if it's being said overtly or if it's being said through those 52 words, where every every human deserves to have. Well, we're all human. We're all, and and I think when I look at it through that lens, it that everyone should have a let's call it a decent experience. That yeah, they should be free from certain disturbances that or that they should have some tranquility in their life. And I'm not saying that we should be trying to make everybody's life perfect, or that they should have justice in their life, that they should have um what let me go back to the words themselves. And the when we talk about general welfare, um all of those things ring true for me. I think that we need to get more specific on what those things mean. Should the guy that's wandering around the streets of a big city that's talking to himself, that that clearly isn't in his right mind, should he have access to help? Should he should we be stopping? Should someone be stopping and saying, "Hey, we need to do something about this"? This person is obviously in pain. There's definitely no tranquility going on in any of that, like as far as I'm concerned. And I think psychology, um, at least the last 200 years of psychology would probably agree with me. I mean, I disagree with me if you want, but I don't know. I'm trying to finish the thought here, and I'm coming up a little bit short.
No, it's fine. It's so I think one of the big things is, like you said, definition of words. Everybody being on the same page as far as what the words we're putting out there mean. You know, the meaning of the words 240 some years ago are going to be different than they are now. Meanings of words change. Even the, I mean, and I can, I can just imagine that, you take 30, 40 people, whatever. I don't think it might not have been that many, but to get them all together to agree on language um, is definitely not the easiest thing to do just because of what it means between one person and another. I
Hmm.
know that there's, as they would do um, reviews of the different wording in the Constitution, that there were things that were taken out, during that time that people thought should be in there, and they were eventually left out. So I, I guess the question is when we look at the preamble as it is, does it need to be changed? Does it need to have the words explained? Does it need to have meaning put behind the words that are there so that they're not left open to interpretation? Or do we leave it that way so that it is left up to interpretation? Because general welfare back in the 1800s is a lot different than the general welfare of the, you know, 2000s, 2100s, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So,
Mm.
you know, common defense, was, muskets and cannons and naval warfare. Now it's drones, you know, um,
Yeah, yeah, planes and
Tra-
tanks and
tranquility. What is tranquility? How to domestic tranquility. No what? No riots. No whatever. Like what is domestic tranquility? Like so, and then of course justice. Everybody has their own version of what justice is. I mean that's evident just from the simple fact of corporal punishment or death penalty and all those
yeah, death
conversations.
penalty. Yeah.
Um,
Well, and
so
even I mean, even prison sentences. I mean, I think we're hugely divided as a country on that.
oh yeah,
And it like even when you, well, I can't think of which amendment is the one about cruel and unusual punishment, where my mind has changed as far as that goes vastly over the last 20 years, where I think prison sentences for people are incredibly cruel, and what what happens to them, what happens to the brain, and what goes on in those prisons is not okay. You know,
yeah,
but somebody could jump on right now and completely disagree with me, and I
yeah,
would understand.
yeah. Well, I mean, that I mean we'll get into, obviously we'll have a bigger discussion at some
Sure.
point about that, but the you're always going to have those differing opinions. You're always going to have, well, I think that this is the right way, and somebody else will, oh, I think this is the right way. I mean, this is the same thing that the founding fathers went through when they were trying to do this. Like, there was screaming matches. There were, people yelling about this. There were people, that was,
Yeah.
a big thing was decorum. And some people did it, some people didn't. People get very passionate about a lot of this stuff, and that's not wrong. I mean, you're when you're talking about something that is supposed to lay down the governance of the people, and you have people with different viewpoints of what is right, what is wrong, what infringes on my rights versus what I think other people should do. It's something that we definitely have to look at this and say, okay, is there a clarification that needs to be done, or do we leave it, leave the preamble as it is, and say, well, we're going to provide more clarifications in the text, because this is just a summary, just an overview of why of this document. So Do we need to go into more details? Promote the general welfare, provide everybody with room and board, and give them free health care, and give them all that. I, what does general welfare mean?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you there's a reason why it's general welfare and not explicitly house, clothe, feed, shelter. Because our founding fathers knew that things would change. So
Yeah.
if you if you
That's
try
a
to
good
say
point.
specific things, you're going to have a really hard time getting people to approve of that, because in the context of what it is, housing and clothing and feeding people in the 1800s is wildly different than it is now.
Yeah.
And then when you go and you put something like that in the preamble, or provide medical care, or provide everybody a gun, or whatever you want to call it, because you're talking about the entirety of the people. um, how how do you make it to where you have something that's going to be able to, quote unquote, transcend time, to where it's going to last for a long period, and not um, and not change what those meanings are. Because if you give specific things, if you start putting, you know, you put provide housing. Well, what is that? And we've had this conversation before. What is
Yeah.
provide housing for everyone? What is provide health care for everyone?
Yeah.
What is, um, you know, give everybody a gun? Are we talking about a single shot, you know, mini pistol? Or are we talking about an MG 42, or a machine gun, or a tank, like a cannon? Like what
Hmm.
is, and then that's where you get into where specificity is hard to put into a document like this. It's hard to clarify down to the point, because okay, provide everybody a musket. What brand musket? What type of musket? Do they get ammo? Do they have to make their own ammo? What if it breaks? Do you provide them a new one? Do you only get one? Like, you know, well, he's got a bigger musket than I do. Well, he's just having kids, so he has 6 kids now, so he has 8 muskets in his house. So, and I only have 2. Well, that's not right. I want more. Like,
Hmm.
it,
Yeah.
it's one of those things of, when you start guaranteeing things for people, it's okay. Well, what is it exactly we're guaranteeing? So,
Yeah.
um,
I think I think the question I'm asking myself now is like, so do in that preamble, does that still do those words ring true as far as what we would be trying to accomplish, or what we're trying to change, or what we're trying to make better for people? And I guess maybe we haven't really talked about that or fleshed that out exactly. And so I think that might be where I'm having the struggle. Is it like, okay, so does after 240 years, does this still hold true? Is this still what we're trying to accomplish? Is this still the why of why we would be why we're continuing to have a constitution, continuing to have a government, and continuing to to build out this civic architecture? um, does that encompass what we are trying to do? And I'm still playing with that in my head as to whether or not that's accurate or not.
so so the question is, does it?
Right. Um, and when you use words like domestic tranquility and and general welfare, though those things ring true for me, as far as we should be guaranteeing people,
Okay.
what or not people, but the people, all people. Um, but does it encompass the entirety of what we should be guaranteeing them? And that I haven't really put a lot of thought into. Uh,
Okay.
and so
All right.
I'm
So, So I have a
And so I don't know.
that
Now I'm
actually
kind of wondering.
well that brings me to um, the cat in the bag.
Let's let's find the cat.
Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. You remember the cat?
Yeah, you showed it to me, but I'm. Is it on the Reddit page?
Now I am going to put it on stream,
Okay, I'm ready.
just so that we can. So I posted on our Reddit about this wonderful thing that the National Constitution Center has done, and that is they did a Constitution drafting project, right? Let's we'll switch over here. So they have a Constitution drafting project, and they gathered three groups of people. They gathered a libertarian group, a progressive group, and a conservative group. And these are all very intelligent people when it comes to the Constitution and rights. And in the Reddit, um, let me just go here. There you can see the drafting project, and there's links to all of these people, their profiles, and everything in our Reddit. But it's all straight from their website. And they went through the Constitution as each group, and they made essentially changes that they thought um, reflected their particular group's views. So it's really interesting, and the thing that I like about it is the fact that they did a lot of the work for us. So what we're trying to do is we want to take these ideas, these thoughts that they've put out there, and I don't know if it's combine them, take one from here, one from there. Just just the fact that this is a place to even get the discussion going, to where we can say, okay, we understand what these people are, what these other, constituents are talking about, and we understand why they're doing it, and what it is that they're, from their point of view, what this could mean. So we have the conservative, the libertarian, and the progressive, right? So these are the three preambles. I don't know if you can see the stream or not, Josh.
Yeah, yeah, it's on there.
These are the three preambles that those three groups made. Now I haven't labeled them here for obvious purposes, but I can. And actually, let me do this. We will do. I will put the original from our subreddit here. Uh, Put the original text, and some will find out that there's probably no reason to do that, because the first one is exactly the same. The one group decided that there would be no change to the preamble, that it would be the same. And then you had one other one that added this text. I should be able to. Can I bold? No, I can't. So one kept it the same. One added this line to the end of it. They also, if you notice here, they also fixed the capitalization. So one left it just as it is, with capitalization, with all of that. Nothing changed. One group fixed the capitalization, Like, order doesn't have a big O, union is not capitalized, justice is not capitalized. Like, they basically took all the capitalization out of it and then added, these ends shall be secured by the powers of this new government, which shall be divided into three branches, and no branch shall exercise the authority of any other branch. So that was the second one. And then um, the third group, some people may know this, but they added the Declaration of Independence, very well known part of the Declaration of Independence. They added it before the current preamble. Well, actually not before, but right in the middle. We, the people of the United States, reaffirm that, and then this is where they added the Declaration of Independence part. All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem the most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And in the reliance on those principles, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, do ordain the establish the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, off camera earlier, I asked Josh these three, and I'm going to put these. I'm going to put these up at the top here. No, libertarian, conservative, and
A.
and progressive. Okay, libertarian, conservative, and progressive. No particular order, and actually here I'll do you one favor, just because we will put conservative first because it begins with C, and we are now in alphabetical order just to keep any.
And all is right with the world.
All is right with the world. We are in alphabetical order, and nobody is first or last because of any reason. Okay, so you have three new preambles, one that is this original, and they each belong to either the conservative, libertarian, or progressive. And again, going back to this, libertarian, progressive, and conservative constitution. These are the three constitutions that they wrote up, and they all have these three preambles. So, Josh, I don't know if you want to rehash what you were saying before. I really liked where you were going with how you interpreted the three here, and I'd love for you to recap on what you said.
Yeah. So um, I picked the first one, the one that didn't change anything. I thought that was conservative, and that was more along the lines. My thought process in that was that conservatives are slow to change. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they are all about the existing institutions, and that if things are generally working, that we should keep things the same, and that they're sort of, and I'm oversimplifying here, but if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Um, and so I was like, so it would make sense in my head that they would continue on with the same preamble.
Yeah.
I looked at um, I looked at the second one, and saw, and really it was a process of elimination on the second one. I said that one was the progressive one, and that was more along the lines of looking at the third one, thinking that it was libertarian, in the sense that where they specifically put into the preamble that, and again I'm oversimplifying and sort of tongue in cheek joking here, but that if government's not working, burn it to the ground, because libertarians are all about leave me alone. Like, the government has no place in my life. I want as little government as humanly possible, and that people should be self deterministic, and and should be able to lead their own lives and should figure things out for themselves. Um, and I was wrong on all counts. There's nothing specifically in the second one that points me towards that being the progressive um, uh, the progressive version of the preamble, just to put it in context.
So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of your comments about this. But the funny thing is as he was saying this, I unfortunately already knew which one was which. But oh, by the way, welcome back, Liberty Twitcher. It's good to see you, um, and hopefully we're interesting enough for you to stick around. The so conservative, libertarian, and progressive, and I think it's a good idea to when we're looking at who these people are. Okay, so and I think there's a little bit of a difference from when we're talking about in this context for these type of for the people that are doing this. These are constitutional libertarian, constitutional progressives, and constitutional conservatives. They're not your what everybody thinks a libertarian, progressive, and conservative is. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing this. These are lawmakers, people that have done research, people that have been in courts. Like these are people that are very very well versed in a lot of these different things. So it's not going to be your same mindset as far as what a libertarian, like you said. Yes, a libertarian are all about, hey, stay out of my life, I don't need you to govern me, it's my life, leave me alone. And you would think progressives are like, we need a lot of government, and conservatives are, we need little government. So you have libertarian with no government, conservative with little, progressive with a lot. That is the sort of the way that people think. And I could be wrong about that. People might have other ideas, but that's the general. What do you want to call it? The general idea of the way people think, right? So, it was really cool to look at these and understand that the first one that is not changed is actually the progressive Constitution. If we look at the progressive Constitution and we go down to their progressive, it is the same. It does not change. It is the same that it was before. They changed nothing about it. If you go to the middle one, where they added, these ends shall be secured by the powers of this new government, which shall be divided into three branches, and no branch shall exercise authority over any other branch. That is actually the libertarian Constitution. And all of these are available online, these documents. So you're more than welcome, everybody, to go look at them, give them a read over. They have wonderful commentary before they get into the Constitution. What they've rewritten. They have wonderful commentary in front of all of them about their views, their methodology, what they were trying to accomplish, and what they were trying to do. It's all in these PDF documents, and it's actually a really fantastic read. So the libertarian, from their perspective, is the preamble is fine on its own. We just need to add something to it that says, and we mean it. Because essentially they feel that people have been taking advantage of the way the Constitution and not following it to what it says. And then in the conservative Constitution, you have the last one. We'll get there eventually. They have a lot in the beginning. So they added the Declaration of Independence in the conservative Constitution, which I can understand to an extent. It's when you look at what these groups are, like I said, the conservative and the progressives. Let's roll up here to the top, and there's a lot of information here. We're not going to read it all. Um, but if you read here, there's a couple of these paragraphs that give their sort of their overall vision. We're tempted to leave it largely unchanged, amending only provisions that obviously need alteration. But they tempted to go more boldly and doing um, a little bit extra to just try to go give that little oomph to it. So 100% would recommend reading all of these um, and going through them. Now that being said, let me find if we are talking about these and we talk about our preamble, and I know we've had a pretty long conversation, 45 minutes, about what it means, and what words mean, and what each piece of each little iteration of established justice. The question is, like, when you're talking about a preamble, you had three groups of professors and quote unquote scholars, whatever you want to call these people that have an intimate knowledge of the Constitution, the law, and the things around it. And for the most part, they all left it alone. They didn't change any of the wording in it. If you notice, the wording in it is the same in each one. They didn't change anything. Libertarians chose to, get rid of the capitalization, but outside of that, conservatives and progressives changed nothing. The conservatives just added more detail, and I think that, there was a reasoning behind that. Is like we said before, you're giving a why. So you leave a lot of interpretation whenever you say we're going to establish justice, we're going to have tranquility, welfare, blessings of liberty, and equality. Oh, wait a second. I am wrong. They did add the conservatives, or I mean the progressives did add that equality. That's
Hmm.
that's interesting. Yeah, they added and equality. Interesting. I did not notice that. That's my fault on not noticing that. So
Just
they
don't let it
added.
happen again.
Yeah, I know. I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
Um,
Should kill yourself in the most disgusting way possible.
I will. Right after this is over, I'll go right out the
Yeah.
balcony. Um,
All right.
so when you're looking at this stuff and you're looking at what these mean, um, and it's really funny that they spelled defense with a C. Um, Progressive left the C. Libertarians changed it to an S, and so did conservatives. But when you see the why, and you add this part from the Declaration into the why this document was created, why we are making this document, and you reaffirm all men are created equal. That's big.
Well,
That's
and
not.
not only that, the thing that caught me is that they still use all men. They like
Yes.
I I wonder
Well,
did
well,
did they
well.
did
That's
they have an explanation for, because why not all people? Why not
well. No,
every
because they were
all
they were quoting the Declaration.
right? And I get that, but like I think one of the biggest things that I'm thinking about now, and that's not in the Constitution and that had to be put in after, was like that, and that was kind of glossed over, is that over the last 220 or 30 years, we've had this progression of the idea that, and it's always been in the Declaration of Independence, but people in this country have not always been equal,
Yeah.
like
Oh no.
over the last 230 years, and so like the fact that they would still say all men, I don't know. It's just kind of it kind of throws me for a loop a little bit, that if somebody wasn't like, hey, shouldn't maybe we should use a different word, you know,
Well, I
like,
mean, you have to look at it when they're quoting that on purpose. They're quoting the Declaration of Independence on
and that's
purpose.
fair.
So for them to change the wording, that especially from a conservative perspective, like you said, they don't like change.
Yeah.
So I don't think that. But the thing that I find interesting about this is they're reaffirming that all men are created equal, and that you're endowed by their creator, which is another, like, if you look at the words and the way they are endowed by their creator, whoever their creator may be, they're allowed to
Right.
choose their creator. That's why it says creator and not God, with certain unalienable rights, like
Struggling with that
life.
one. Yeah.
I'm horrible. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Like when you, like you're adding things to the why of this document. Like there's nothing about life. There's general welfare. That's not life. You have liberty, blessings of liberty, pursuit of
And equality.
happiness. Well, I mean that's on the progressive one. Pursuit of happiness. That is
No,
nowhere.
in the
Like
libertarian one includes equality as well. Liberty, blessings of liberty and equality to ourselves and our posterity.
no, 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 no.
Look up in the libertarian one.
The libertarian one's right here, in the middle.
Oh, yeah, the progress. Okay.
Yeah, the only one that adds
Wait,
equality is the progressive one.
I thought the libertarian one was up top.
No, that's the progressive. This is
Okay.
here. Well,
Wait, hold up, dude. Because you said originally you said that the progress or the libertarian one was the first one that
no,
didn't really change,
no,
and
no. That's
then
the progressive. Mm-mm. The libertarian
so
is the
the
one
so
that
then the
added,
libertarians added
and we
these
mean it.
ends shall be yeah, but they also added the thing about the three branches of government.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. My bad.
No, it's all good. No, because the libertarian, like if we look at what they say here, um, easier project for us, because the Constitution is fundamentally a libertarian, or a more precisely a classic liberal document. So much that outsays, we joke that all we needed to add was "and we mean it" to the end of every clause. That was literally their purpose. Across the board. Um,
Well, I guess there's some truth in there too, because I mean, when you think about or when I think about injustices and I think about what's going on in society and and where things are going and how things are going, are we? I ask myself the question is, are we truly living up to what's in that document? And a lot of times the answer to that is no.
we'll see,
Um,
and that's the no, but what is going to be done about it? Like what, how,
right.
like when you're talking about, and that's the thing about the preamble. It has no weight. It has, like, it gives a purpose behind things, but it doesn't require anything. It's like secure the blessings of liberty, whatever the hell that is. I mean, let's just do a.
And I guess if you put it in the larger context, if you started writing articles that got more specific, and we were laying out specific rights like what we were talking about earlier, like where you have a right to housing, you have a right to basic income, a certain amount of resources, um, whatever that ends up being, all then all those things in the preamble start to mean something, and they mean something more, at least in my mind.
But and that's the. But see, but that's again where the change comes in. Of, you say these things in the preamble, but then when you create the actual document that has the enforceable law that is being implemented, that is where you have to name what those things are. And then when you get into
Yeah.
the point of doing that, you're you run the gamut of, you have to explain in great detail of what that is. So it's really hard. Like, establish justice. Okay, so we're establishing a justice department, and this is how the justice department runs. These are the how this how each thing is supposed to be done. It doesn't say in the Constitution is what they should be paid. It doesn't say
Hmm.
how many. It doesn't
Yeah.
say, like, it doesn't specifically go down into each each state should have this many judges for this many people, or they should be, this is it doesn't have that information. It just
Well, and
establishes a
how yeah,
it just
how could
establishes
you? I mean, if you, sorry, go
justice.
ahead.
No, 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 no. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, how could you? If you micromanaged on that level, nobody'd ever get
Exactly.
anything done.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So
Um,
the question is we have three. You have one that added and equality. I'll have to make this bigger.
yeah, I think a statement about equality is a now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's a necessary add. I think because it's something that's been, and maybe it does need to be a little bit specific. And I like the conservatives' idea of saying of adding that from the Declaration of Independence, because at the end of the day, the Declaration of Independence, while it's an amazing document and it's a great piece of history, it holds no weight in
Yeah,
today's
at all.
in today's legal society.
Correct.
Um, and and I think that's a big thing that's missing, and it's something that we fought about for 250 years, and we're still fighting about. You know, um, that yeah, and I don't know. I guess it's nice to say that all men are created equal, but uh, some
Some people don't
now that
have
I'm here,
arms. Some people
yeah,
don't have legs. Like so, you know, some people have, they can't
but
hear, can't smell, can't see,
yeah,
can't talk.
I don't know.
So
I said this in my head, and it's like I said I was thinking some level of equal treatment, but it's like how do you enforce that? How do you go about uh
that's the worst
and
part
so
about all
that's
this. Is
yeah,
is is how do you, like, we say these things, and we say that things need to be different. Cool. How? And that's what this discussion is about, is how. How do
yeah.
we how do we figure that out? How do we start at the foundation and patch it up, rework it, make it better, use concrete this time? I don't know. You know, I
I
you know,
in my head I keep circling back around the to the idea that we have to change the way that we think about each other, the way that we view each other, and the way that we treat each other. And because I don't see how we can't govern people to be better.
yeah,
Like
you're
that
right.
that's the thing that I'm butting up against.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
um
I mean,
yeah,
that's why you have locks on your doors.
right like what we were talking about, like, and we said we wanted to put on stream is the when I was talking about progressive, when I was thinking that the progressive one was the harshest one.
Yeah.
um uh, uh, or no, I'd say where it was, I can't remember which way I did, but the idea that that I was thinking that progressives are all about more government, and that's
Yeah.
why they threw in the three branches of government and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And and I was like, well, it's because they want more government. It's like, no, they don't want more government. They want to move quickly. They want to change fast. And you break things when they do that and do all that stuff because they believe that's the way to uh, to get where they want to go, because we all want to go to the same place. We all want to build a better life for the greatest good for the greatest number of people possible.
Yeah.
That's my that's my personal thought process. They just have a different idea of how they're getting there, and so I think with the political arm of progressivism, what they've sort of adopted is this idea that, well, the only way to affect this change quickly is to do it by legislating it through governance. And and then and then you looked at me and you're like, well, that's fascism. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right, it is. Like
That's no, and it's what it is. Like
and
when you're talking about dictating what people can and can't do, and the strong arm of the government, and the government
yeah
doing that, it's fascism. When the
and
government
it, yeah and
regulates
it,
everything, is fascism. So
and if you're on the right side of that, if they're doing all the things that you want and the things that you like, that's great for you.
oh
But for
yeah,
the people that's not,
not so great.
you then become the oppressed.
Yes,
You know,
So
and
that's the crazy thing about it is, even, because you're talking about a constitutional progressive, a constitutional conservative. Like
yeah,
we're not talking about the political parties here.
yeah,
We're talking about the foundation of the government and what people feel the government should or should not be able to do, and or infringe upon. The
yeah,
libertarians, like, get out of my life.
right.
We're, you know, in order to form a more perfect union to establish all of these things, we are going to create this document. And the reason that they put that last part in there, these ends shall be secured by the powers of this new government, which shall be divided into three branches, and no branch shall exercise authority over any other branch. The one that puts power into the preamble, period, because you're essentially saying we're going to split, in the preamble, in the summary of this document, we're going to, all of these powers are secured by this new government, and it should be in three branches, and ain't nobody doing, like, can't nobody tell which other one, whichever one to do
What to do?
what to do. So
Yeah,
it's, that is a libertarian view on that. Like, we're giving different people the power to do different things, and y'all can't tell each other what to do. That's how it
yeah.
works. So, and then the fact that the conservative, all they did was literally just put in the statement of the Declaration of Independence. They, I mean, essentially what it says. I mean, if you look at this,
Well,
we're
yeah,
forming
and
this.
I loved how they used a line from the Declaration of Independence that basically says, "Hey, and if we don't like what's going on, we're going to burn it to the ground."
Right,
Like that,
right.
that was a conservative saying that. Like I was like, God damn, dude, that's hardcore. Like
That's what I'm
you,
saying. Like, you're putting in the preamble that hey, we're all equal. We have our own rights, and these are life, liberty, and happiness. And to secure these rights, we're going to put this government in place, and we're making this document to put this government in place. But we give them the power to do what they want, and if we don't like it, we get rid of you. Like,
yeah.
you're literally putting that in the Constitution, like in the summary of the document. Um,
They pretty much said fuck around and find out. Like
for the most part, yeah. Um, it's it's really interesting that would be, the conservative viewpoint, but it's not from a conservative perspective. If you stop doing what we want you to do, we'll get rid of you. I mean,
yeah.
that's that's kind of what it is, you
Yeah,
know.
and I think that's fair. I mean,
The libertarian is
and I
don't tread
don't
on me.
disagree with that.
Yeah, no, and the libertarian is don't tread on me. Hey, you each got your own thing. You can't tell each other what to do.
Yeah,
Um, you
but
know,
figure it out.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so I guess from an everyday, uh, uh, citizen point of view, do we add,
Well, so
change? Do we leave? Do we put equality in there? Do we put, hey, do we give it power and say this is the way it works? Or do we
yeah,
say, hey, we're putting this together, just so you know, if we don't like it, we're gonna change. We're gonna get rid of you. Like, like, like what part of the purpose of this document, the why of this document? I don't think we need to go as far as putting the thing of the Declaration of Independence in there. I mean, if you want to add something, and again, this part of the preamble is supposed to be the why. It's supposed to be the purpose behind this. It's not supposed to say, well, yeah,
yeah.
our purpose for doing this is to create you whenever we want to. Um,
Well, I mean, well, what about? I guess what about you? What are your thoughts on it? Like, as far as would you add? Would you change? I mean, I talked about equality, and I think there's I think like I go back and forth on the privacy thing too. I wonder if that you know that should be a thing because that's only instantiated in the courts, and we've had a huge problem with that from a from a government aspect. But I think there's a couple of things that I would want to add, but I think overall, like it still falls in line with, in my mind, what I would want from a constitution and what I would want from a government. In broad terms, that's my thought, anyways. And I, I need to get out of this space of um, trying to trying to because we're not going to create better people through this. We're not going to create better people
Yep.
through governance. We
Correct.
just need to put we need to put guardrails in place to stop the people that aren't
Taking
gonna
advantage.
that are gonna take advantage. And we're not going to do that in the preamble. We just need to set out, like,
Is
the summary.
the question is, like, do you like what the progressive did?
I
A blessing of liberty and equality. Like if we talk like the blessing of liberty, the phrase blessing of liberty refers to the fundamental rights and individual freedoms of citizens. Secure and protect those freedoms of both themselves and all future generations. You know, so if we're talking about secure, the blessings of liberty, secure emphasizes it was created to protect and ensure citizens' rights. Blessings of liberty refers to the individual freedoms, um, and to ourselves and our posterity. This the founders' intent, it would be a lasting framework that guaranteed the liberties for their descendants. So, is there, would that need to be like, and then you're talking general welfare. I don't know, like, is there anything that you can add to this that isn't already there? I mean, equality. Eh, and the libertarian was like, no, it's perfect. We just need to make sure that they actually listen to what we say. it's, it's
Yeah,
what it is. Um, you know, I mean, because you're talking, no branch shall exercise authority of any other branch.
yeah.
I mean, which technically is already in the Constitution because it gives the rights per branch. But
But they do exercise some authority over each other, and I'm
to
wondering,
an extent,
and I haven't, yeah. Currently, you have those checks and balances on it, where the legislative branch confirms all of the the executive branch cabinet positions,
do
and
they?
you
Do they
know,
though?
I mean, in obviously it's mostly a what's
Yeah,
the word I'm looking for?
dog
It's
and
mostly
pony,
ceremony.
dog and
Yeah,
pony. It's a
yeah.
it's a pomp and whatever. Yeah, yeah. It's really, and
And then
that's
you've got impeachment and some other stuff. The
yeah,
the legislative branch writes the laws. The president has to sign them into law. You got that
approves them,
in there.
and then
Yeah.
the
And
yeah,
so
and then
so I guess I'm thinking, are they? And what I'm wondering in what they're saying there is that, like, are the three branches just separate from each other, and they no longer have checks and balances on each other.
well, no,
They no
see,
longer check
okay,
each other.
so wait a second. But that's the thing is, no branch shall exercise authority over any other branch.
Yeah,
It's not
I
a
guess checks and balances and authority are they're two
yeah,
different
the
things.
authority basically, the president, having the authority to do certain things like, or the legislative
It's like
branch
stay in your
legislating
lane, basically.
against, the judicial, telling them that they have to do certain things. It's exercising the authority over one or the other. Um, but again, I mean, the fact that we're able to have this conversation for so long about the preamble, which I think is good because the preamble is not it's not it is an ambiguous paragraph. It is
Yeah.
it is not meant to be specific. It is not meant to hold some sort of power or authority. It is meant to summarize what the document is about. So, to, giving that purpose to the document, the question, and this is where and equality for the progressive. You know, the
Well,
libertarian doesn't give any other quote unquote.
what do you think? I mean, do
So
you think anything needs to be added? Where are you at right
I
now?
try not to think. I hear it's bad for you. No,
Yeah.
the this is because you have if you look at this from okay, so one, they want to form a more perfect union. I mean, if you take it back to the context of why they were creating this document, it was
Hmm.
because of the Articles of Confederation, right? And they didn't have any
Right.
power. They
Wasn't
had
working.
it wasn't working for them to be able to do anything.
Yeah, the government had no teeth.
Yeah. So to form a more perfect union. Okay. So I got that. Establish justice. Okay. So you're talking about keep have the ability to make people accountable for things. Ensure domestic tranquility. Okay. Keep for people to be able to live on their own without infringement. Provide common defense. There's your military. Make sure nobody outside of the states comes in. Promote the general welfare. I mean, that pretty much takes care of making sure that people are taken care of. General welfare. If you're talking, let's just add it here to broad well-being, prosperity, and
Oh,
security of a
you're
society.
gonna trust Gemini? Wow.
Man, I am not trusting anything. I am
Hmm.
just I am just here. Let's look general welfare relatedness incident. I'm not trusting it. I'm just trying to get an idea of the General Welfare Clause grants Congress the power to tax and spend and promote it. So this is the thing, the general welfare. This is mentioned in the Constitution, like in an article, giving Congress the power to do to Article 1, Section 8. Grants Congress the power to lay and collect taxes, to pay debts, and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. So this is a big one. So that's what and it's understandable. Um, let's see, National Constitution. It's in the legislative branch. What is it? What is it? Article 8.
I think it's Section 8, but not the
Uh,
housing kind.
yeah, no. Coined promotes the progress of science to declare war, provide. Okay, yeah, I mean it's right in the beginning. Right
The
here.
general, it mentions general welfare. Yeah. Yeah, general welfare. I was on the third line.
Yeah. So Congress
Oh, so,
shall.
but
Yeah,
it's talking about general welfare of the United States, not of the people.
correct. General
So,
welfare of the United States, which which is a very broad general welfare, like
yeah.
general welfare.
Yeah, and so I mean, does that even cover you're talking about the general welfare of the United States, and maybe they kept it that way because I'm trying to think back now to where, the federal government wasn't supposed to interfere in what was going on in the states, and we sort of walked away from that. Um,
To an extent,
as
yeah.
far as yeah, as far as the ideas of what federalism means.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, and so I when I read that the general welfare of the United States, okay, well, what does
What does
that
it What
mean?
does it mean? And this is
Yeah,
where you had the arguments. Anti-federalist feared it granted unlimited or undefined power to the federal government. Argued the clause was limited by the Constitution's specific enumerated powers. Hamilton argued it provided Congress broad authority to tax and spend for national purposes.
yeah.
I mean, and
Well,
they're all right.
and the way that we've changed federalism, I think the biggest change over the last 100 years was FDR, like completely changed the idea of what federalism is in as far as as far as the federal government could interfere in states' rights, not states' rights, but states' ability to do things, and even the way that they dole out money. Like
Mm-hmm.
it all the majority of it comes from the federal government now, rather than the states raising taxes and taxing income or whatever they see fit. It all Most of it funnels up from the federal government and then trickles down.
And that's
Um,
a discussion that
and
I am going to thoroughly enjoy when we get to that part. When we're
but I
talking
mean,
about
I'm
spending.
saying that in the in the scope of the general welfare of the United States. Are we talking about the people of the United States and now, or are we talking about
Okay, well,
talking
if you
about
look at
each individual state?
oh,
You
okay,
know,
so I'm so glad that I'm an English, not an English major. But if we look at this, we the people of the United States, in order
okay.
to form a more perfect union,
But why didn't they say
promote.
the general welfare of the people of the United
No,
States?
no,
Why
no,
didn't
no,
they say that in Section 8?
no, no.
That's what I'm wondering.
We'll see. This is the thing. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish, or was it? Wait a second. We the people of the United States promote the general welfare, do ordain, and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. So if we take this and we break this apart. God, I'm so glad I'm not any. Okay, so we're talking about this is the who, right? So we the people of the United States, right? Okay. We are doing this to the objective is to create a more perfect union. All right. So then we have the different things.
Justice,
Well,
tranquility.
well, we'll see. No, this is we the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union, comma. So this is where the list starts. We the people of the United States are ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States. Control C. Okay, we the people of the United States do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, and then you get the whys. So you should be able to take all of these, and you should be able to put them in there by themselves in the middle of that, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So we the people of the United States do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. I don't we the people of the United
Yeah,
States
and so the only reason I'm stuck on
establish
this general
justice.
welfare. Go ahead. The only reason I'm stuck on this general welfare thing is because I'm thinking about the general welfare of the individual, not
Not the
whereas
states
I don't,
or the
I don't
country.
yeah, I don't think that's defined. And I understand that that in 1789 that was for the states to define because
Yes.
you had dual federalism, but that's not the system that we're operating under anymore. Where you had specific rights for the states, and you had specific things that the federal government was doing, and you had specific things that the states were doing, and so they wouldn't define general welfare for the individual; they would define it for the states. But now that we're not operating under that system anymore, I feel like there has to be something for the general welfare of the individual. That's what I'm thinking now.
There, I fixed that. I fixed the part that was bothering me. I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't say anything about the individual. This is the way it's supposed to read. We the people of the United States, in order to. form a more perfect union, in order to establish justice, in order to ensure domestic tranquility, in order to provide for the common defense, in order to promote the general welfare, in order to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish. The in order to was the part that was throwing me off.
Mm.
So these are the things. It is a total of six things. Six things that the Constitution is quote unquote supposed to be doing. More perfect union, establish justice, or form a union, establish justice, ensure tranquility, provide common defense, promote general welfare, secure liberty to ourselves and our kids. So, is there anything else that the quote unquote Constitution, is there any other reason why we are creating this Constitution? I guess is the question. Is there anything other than these things? More perfect union, unify the states, right? Essentially,
Hmm.
establish justice.
Law
Um,
and order.
I guess you could call it law. I'm, I have some qualms about that. Domestic tranquility.
You want to talk about it?
Um, maybe later.
Hmm.
Domestic tranquility. Um, no fighting, right?
No disturbances. Or minimal disturbances, maybe. Maybe we do that.
I was just I was just thinking of Shakira. You know,
Yeah. Or minimize disturbances. That's not how you spell disturbances.
it's not.
Well, it is now.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're a little delayed because you're watching the stream. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Provide for common defense. Yeah, it's not how you spell. Um, uh, I get that right?
Foreign policy, maybe. Foreign engagements.
Foreign policy,
Uh,
military.
bor- border defense.
Yeah. I'm just well. I don't. Yeah, I guess border defense, but I don't know that the military.
Border patrol and uh, dare I say it, ICE are federal agencies.
Yeah, no, common defense, protecting from outside influence. Um, all right, promote the general welfare. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and so I like if you go to Section 8, it's the welfare of the states.
general. No, 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 no. We're not talking. We're not down there. We're talking about the preamble. We're what do we want this to be? We're talking about
Oh,
us right now for rewriting. So we're looking at all of the things that it does, and we're seeing if there's anything we want to add. So promote the general welfare. What does that cover? What does that mean? General welfare. It's
I think
citizen
it's yeah, I think it's welfare of the individual. I
general welfare.
that yeah.
General welfare. So it's very very general, and like we did promote general welfare. Like let's we're just gonna
We're going back to
well I mean it's as a core purpose. It's one of five purposes. Yes, yes, we know this. Well-being of the nation refers to the overall health, happiness, and prosperity of the entire nation and its citizens.
oh well, and I think that's a I think, because in order for a nation, in order for a people to prosper, the nation itself has to prosper and be able to do the things that it needs to do, build roads, deliver, deliver mail, um,
Yeah, but is that a
and obvi-
okay? I can see the mail as a national institution. Roads, should that be a federalized thing? Roads, or should it be
I
state?
mean, when you talk about interstate commerce and other stuff like that, I think that's a necessity. Or if you look at, the FAA and how goods are shipped, trains are crossing state lines, and
So you're
I
talking about all of the interstate stuff. So how is that general welfare? So we're talking about promoting general welfare.
well, if those things aren't maintained at a federal level and I guess regulated in some way, I know a lot of the reasons for the interstate commerce clauses in the original Constitution was centered around the idea that states couldn't impede commerce between other states.
Correct.
They couldn't disrupt supply chains. They couldn't, if they were making goods in their state and then people wanted to import other goods that were cheaper, they couldn't. There were laws and things in place against that to uh, promote commerce and promote growth, which I think is uh, probably still necessary today. I mean, especially if you look at it in the context of today, where somebody has gone out and and put tariffs on other countries and disrupted commerce quite a bit in
Okay.
in the current state of things.
So so what is this? The original meaning of the duty to promote the general welfare. So this was done by Willamette Law Review back in 22 from let's see, University of Chicago School of Law. So contributes the understanding of the preamble by presenting the first comprehensive study of original meaning of the duty to promote general. It looks at early dictionaries, hundreds of examples of the use of general welfare in 18th century America to understand what that phrase would have meant back then, right? So this is what
Hmm.
we were talking about earlier, and it's funny how this all makes a big circle. Words mean things, but those
Right.
meanings of words change based on how they're talked about, and especially over time, right?
Well, and how culture changes, and
So
and life changes in general.
So the analysis demonstrates the concept of the general welfare had a nuanced and widely accepted definition. Awesome. Universally accepted that all governments had a duty to promote the general welfare of their subjects. In fact, the duty to promote general welfare was viewed as one of the most important goals of every government. Elected officials, in particular, were expected to place the general welfare of those they governed ahead of their own personal interest. Holy boy, that went.
What?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That,
Crazy talk.
when did that go
Crazy.
sideways?
Crazy talk. This meant striving to promote the health, well being, happiness, and prosperity of all members of society. Decision to include the duty to promote the general welfare of the preamble of the Constitution both represented the culmination of more than a century of political thought and recognizing the importance of that duty to the 18th century Americans. Okay, so,
So how do we make that mean that today? Is my question. If we want to continue to use general welfare, or do we? Because I don't know if we have a widely accepted or understood view, if that's what that means.
right? I mean, we could go in and I wonder if they have this for the other. Oh, and it's free.
That's
Definition
nice.
of general, definition of welfare, the meaning.
But I mean, just because that's what somebody's saying in a law review doesn't mean that that's the societally accepted view.
Well, well, no, you're absolutely right, and that's why they went and they looked at early Oh, sorry, excuse me. Arthur was unable to find a dictionary to define the entire phrase general welfare prior to 1800. General welfare. So, it's
Yeah, this is the only part that I'm struggling with right now, as far and I feel like needs a little bit more specificity. I mean, I'd love to hear from other people about how they feel about this because it is, and it's such a point of contention in our society right now.
what the general welfare is. Okay.
Well,
So the
yeah,
question would be: is do we need to? Is that something that needs changed? General welfare, and then blessings of liberty. And this is those. This is those questions.
do we need to get like a poll going on Reddit or
I think we're going to have to. Well, then that's the whole point of this exercise is to put this stuff out there, to have people, to have that conversation, to say, okay, these are the like these are the things that are in there now. What what does everybody think should either be added, taken away, changed, all of those purposes. But I think the hardest part, and the thing that, just like you said, it means different things to different people, and that is going to be the part that is the hardest. Is okay, if we don't define what these things are, they're left open to interpretation for good reason. One, general welfare can mean any number of things from the 1800s to the 2500s. So how do you get specific? How do you put it in a way they use general welfare? Well, what did that mean to them back then, and how do you interpret that from today's words? Blessings of liberty. Do you know what blessings of liberty that you have and or don't have? Do you even know what that means? The blessings of liberty. Most people don't even understand what that means.
what it entitles them to?
Exactly. So if you look at this, securing the blessings of liberty, the government's primary purpose is to protect, preserve, and promote individual freedoms and rights for both the current generation and future ones. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're talking. So when you say general welfare, and it's it's just of the United States, it's not of the individual, and then you say blessings of liberty. Oh, well, that's to the individual. Like, why is all of this not to the individual? It literally is we the people in order to establish justice. For who? For everyone. For each individual, right? That's the
Yeah.
purpose. Everybody should have it. In order to form a more perfect union. For who? For everybody. Everybody. For the people to have the ability to have a more perfect union so that, it can work to their advantage, to the people's advantage. Ensure domestic tranquility. For who? The states? No, for everyone. So I think that the interesting part is domestic tranquility and provide for common defense are separate. But why? Because
Uh,
wouldn't you think domestic tranquility?
In my head, I think protection it's more like protection from each other. But I mean, that
Okay.
could be included in justice or, not domestic tranquility in the idea that you're like you're in some sort of neighborhood
Domestic
battle
tranquility.
with,
This is your trade. This is the thing you were talking about. Trade, domestic tranquility, to be able to
or
have
think
free
about,
trade between states.
yeah, or even at the individual level, like that you have get some level of tranquility just in your life. If somebody is harassing you, if somebody's stalking you, if somebody you know
Here,
in,
here you go.
infringing upon you,
Here,
that's not okay.
well, and this is what they had back when it was back when this was written. The founders were concerned about the social disorder, rebellions, and lack of stability in the new states, which stemmed from a weak
Right.
central government unable to control conflicts. You know, if you have
But
rebellions in every state, and then the state is like, "Hey, guys, we're supposed to be part of this union. I need help. What's going on?" I don't know that
well, I
you have this so much now as you did back then when the country was still going through its
sure.
paces.
Specifically, that was probably had something to do with Shays' Rebellion, which was what kicked off, which was what kind of like the final straw for the Articles of Confederation, anyways. Where, um, uh, and I forget what the rebellion was fought over, but basically people were upset, they were mad, they gathered together, and then SHAYS.
I got it. I got it. I
There you
got
go.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and what ended up happening was is that the federal government couldn't do anything about it. Um, yeah, so it's high taxes and economic hardship.
Man, it's it's like the farmers and the Revolutionary War veterans were going through the same thing. Sorry. It's
All of
like
this will
it,
happen again.
it's like we've done this before.
Yeah,
What happened?
yeah,
did we do this once? So
yeah, and and so it probably had something. I'm sure that had something to do with the language that was in there, where it's like we need to find peaceful ways to resolve our domestic squabbles.
yeah, I mean, if we're looking at here, I mean that was, I mean the Articles of Confederation, they were absolute trash. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Which, and I understand the reason for the Articles of Confederation in the sense that, well, they were coming from a monarchy, and so they're just like, well, let's just
we
give the
don't.
government as least power,
Yeah,
the least amount of power possible. And then
exactly.
10 years later, they realize, hey, man, this ain't going to work.
Yeah, because why are we even in this together? What's the purpose of us being in this together when we get no benefit? There's nothing that the quote unquote centralized government can do for us because they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So, but they also wanted it to where the states retained power to be able to govern how they wanted to govern. I mean, if you want to look at it, it's because of the size of our country. It's essentially we're like the EU. You know, the
Yeah.
European Union. You have a bunch of small countries that are united together to form, one country, um, and it's kind of okay. Well, how do we do that, and what do we need to do it for? So, I mean, it makes sense. Um, I mean, these
Yeah.
because in order to form a more perfect union, we understand that establish justice. Yeah, that's yeah, domestic tranquility. Okay, you don't want uprisings, you don't want whatever. Common defense, foreign policy, military. Okay, why not do this with all of it? We've done it with those. Right? What did they say it is? Protect the nation is from all threats, foreign and domestic.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's all stuff that can be agreed upon. But I just keep coming back to
These
general
are
welfare, and I'm
well,
like,
these are both of
eh,
these. The blessings of liberty. So this is the blessing
yeah,
of the individual. This is the protection of the individual's rights. That is what that is. So you have unify the states, establish law and order, protect the citizens from themselves. Um, actually, it's protect the citizens from other citizens.
yeah,
Um, provide,
Is,
protect the citizens from outside, promote general welfare. This could be inside too. Promote general welfare. So protect the citizens in general, and then blessings of liberty, protect the citizens' rights. So, I mean, if we look at this, this is all about the people, we the people. And it's all about protecting them from all of the different things, protecting them from, you know, I can't even say it now, justice. Let me, let me just do this because it's probably going to be able to word it better. Create a system of laws that are fair and transparent, equally applied to everyone. I mean, that's, yeah, I couldn't, see?
yeah,
It's so much easier to do that, right?
yeah.
You know what? What the hell? Just because. So, you know,
God bless AI.
there you go.
Hmm.
Signifying the founders' aim to create a government that's substantial improvement over the previous Articles of Confederation, creating a more effective and cohesive central government. Yep. To create laws where are fair, transparent, and applied to everyone equally, ensuring that the laws prevail, protecting individual rights. Government's goal is to maintain peace and order. Let's see. To maintain peace and order within the country, preventing social disorder, riots, internal conflicts, ensuring a stable, law-abiding society for its citizens. Common defense. Yeah, I might as well. I like the way that they word it rather than what I'm saying. The responsibility. I mean, that's essentially what. See, promote general welfare is the big. That's the one that's the broadest. That's the one that doesn't
Yeah,
have a lot of whatever. Secure the blessings of liberty. Government's primary purpose is to protect. I like how it says the primary purpose. These are all primary purposes.
yeah,
Okay, so the
yeah.
question
And I
is there anything
go ahead.
missing?
Well, so if we take the broadest definition of general welfare, I think it works. Um,
Health, well-being, and happiness. Health, well-being, happiness, and prosperity
yeah.
of all members of society. Right?
The 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 problem comes in, and I think it's a problem for a later discussion. Um, is who gets to decide health, well-being, and happiness and prosperity means, and and the lengths to which the government will go to provide that, and
And
and,
and and
and
this and this part right here.
yeah, yeah, which is something that we've gotten away from.
Yep.
Um,
The
and
expectation to place general welfare of those they governed ahead of their own personal interests. That
yeah,
is a big
and
one.
that goes back to the civic virtue conversation we had in the
Yes.
last episode,
Oh yeah.
and and what's been lost. But I think I'm sort of coming to the same conclusion that the rest of the um, the three
The
constitutional
three.
panels did, as
Yeah.
far as I don't think there's a lot that really does need to be changed.
Well, and that's like with the
Um,
progressive one and equality. That adding that word doesn't. I don't know that it means much.
yeah, I don't think it really adds anything, not if because it falls under the scope of general welfare. Like, and the general welfare being that means that everyone should have the same the same level of general welfare, the same equality in that, and the same equality of liberty. I mean, I think it really goes back to what you were talking about, the libertarians, where the only reason to add something like that would be because, well, this time we mean it.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. I can't think of anything that it doesn't cover. More perfect union, justice, tranquility, defense, welfare, liberty. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know of any other thing that quote unquote that we would want or that the government should be doing for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the nuance is going to come more in the articles and how we move forward with that. And when, when we start talking about the Bill of Rights or just rights in general that are being written into the Constitution, because, the Bill of Rights was an add-on, but it was an absolute necessity. I couldn't imagine where we would be without them.
Oh well,
Um,
the thing was
the
is the states wouldn't have ratified it without it.
Right.
Like
Right.
there was a consistent thing to where there was a promise of, hey, we do this, yes, we're going to do the Bill of Rights, we're going to have this, and this is going to be the
Right.
first things that get in put in there, because there were
Yeah.
states that said no. Like I know North
Yeah.
Carolina said we're not doing anything until we see the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there was other
And I
states too, but
and maybe that's the jumping off point is like before we talk about how the government's going to be formed is what rights is that government going to secure uh, before we figure out the management of said thing, because that feels, at least in my head and in my heart, that feels the most important to me, as far as what needs to be defined, when especially when we talk about general welfare, blessings of liberty, all of that stuff.
mm-hmm. And
um,
it's one of those things to
and it
that
needs to be
you're
well defined.
yeah, and you're looking at this. So if you had a things, if you were putting a government together, what would you want them to do?
Right.
Well, if they're you're literally the government is there to protect the people. Period. What are they protecting? Well, they're being fair, establish justice. You know, fair
Yeah.
justice. Um, I
They're
mean,
not
you
trying
could
to kill each other or steal from each other. They're not trying to.
tranquility.
Yeah.
Yep, to maintain order so that you don't have people trying to do things that they shouldn't do, but protecting the law-abiding citizenry. Um, protect from outside, common defense. Protect the health and well-being, welfare, and protect the individual's rights. I'm failing to see something else. You got your individual rights. I'm failing to see any other thing that is not covered when you look at it from that
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, I agree. And every time I try to drill down on it, like I try to get more specific, or every time I try to find something else, or something else that we should add, all I'm doing is drilling down on things that are already laid out in these words,
And this
and
is
and we're not trying to get specific.
exactly
This is a summary.
this is also an interesting thing. If you look at the verb attached to this, establish justice, right? They're looking to form a more perfect union. We're establishing justice. We're ensuring domestic tranquility. We're providing for the common defense. This is an interesting word, though. So you're talking you're forming, establishing, you're ensuring, you're providing. You're only promoting general welfare. You're not providing general welfare. You're not giving. You're not ensuring general welfare. You
That's a
are
good point.
securing the blessings of liberty. This is you're just promoting it. You're not. It is not a guarantee. If you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So so if you look at the verbs that are involved in what you're doing, do we want to change that? Do we want the government to do more than just promote the general welfare?
Well, I think based on the discussions that you and I have had, I think we do. Um, I,
But
but
is it an ensure? Is it to provide? Is it to secure? Is there another verb like besides just promote?
Well, I think it is. I for me, and like I said, and based on the discussions that we've had, because when I look at when you look at it from a systems perspective, and you know the whole holistic thing, and you know when you're looking at the economy and the and wealth generation, resources, um, all of that stuff, they who if the government is not ensuring that or providing that you know that
Well,
floor
those are two
that we
different
talked
things.
about.
Those are two different things. Ensuring and providing are two different things.
Okay, well let's say provide then for the sake of argument, and and, and we think okay, well the way our society is going and the way things are at when you talk about with AI and with everything going on and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on this, but and the way that wealth is accumulated and hoarded in this country, and I think you know across the entire globe, I someone, oh man, I'm having a hard time saying this. Um, there, me personally, I feel as though there needs to be some redistribution. Um, and so who gets to provide that redistribution? Me personally, I would love it if every billionaire out there, if every conglomerate looked at that and looked at their profits and looked at their looked at could look at their stakeholders and say, you know what, we're not paying out this quarter. We're you know, we have this much profit over growth. We're putting it into this charity, or we're, you know, or we're giving it back to this city or this state or whatever, and and everyone benefits from it. Thing just popped into my head. The in Alaska they have the permanent dividend fund, which
Yeah,
is a
from the oil.
um, yeah, from the oil money that Alaska makes every single year. And I don't know
Yep.
all the ins of that and outs of that economically, but every single person benefits from it if you are an Alaskan citizen.
Yep.
And there's no questions asked. There's
Actually, I think it's
nobody asks what you're doing with the money. Nobody cares. You get it if you're a citizen of the state of
the
Alaska.
permanent fund.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, the Alaska
Um,
Permanent Fund.
And
Uh,
and so where it was something like that, where they are providing
it's per resident.
resources, yeah, resources to their citizens, and there's no strings attached.
Well, I mean, there are some
there's obviously
strings. You got to live there
yeah,
for more than
you got to
half a
live there a
year.
year, but but as long as you are a citizen of said government, you are entitled to that benefit.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of thinking about it along those lines, um, rather than promoting than to provide. And you know, I know we didn't want to get into this on you know on this very first episode, but I feel like it's kind of a big reason that
No,
we got this started is that
yeah.
um, is that yeah, with all the wealth and resources that are out there, and the way that people are using, because like I said, what I would like is for a billionaire to look at all the money that he has and says, you know what, I really don't need that fifth jet. I don't need that G4. I don't like and 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 you know what, I probably didn't get here on my own. I should probably be paying my employees more per year, or I should be doing this, or like to uh, make it more equal, to
Equitable.
uh, yeah, equitable. I'm, you know, I don't like that word, and I know that stirs up a lot of feelings in people, but I guess it
Well,
is
so
what it
does
is.
equal. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, so if we're talking
Uh,
about the difference, sorry, did you have more that you wanted to?
No, I do, but like, go ahead because I'm still trying to work this out in my head.
So if we're talking about promoting the general welfare, okay, promote supporting or actively encouraging progress of the cause, venture, or idea, versus provide, giving or furnishing something to supply or make something available that is needed. Ensure, to protect against loss or damage by obtaining, okay, not an insurance policy. Let's see if they. I mean,
Maybe it's
I guess
ensure now with an E.
yeah, yeah, guarantee an outcome or event, secure, gaining
Yeah.
control or making safe, and to promote, yeah. So it's not, and that's one of the things that, so secure, to make something safe, certain, firm against attack, loss, or danger. To promote is to encourage the growth, development, or success of something. Is promote the right word? Because when you're talking about, to provide, to supply or make something, make available something that is needed. So you're supplying, the government is supplying the general welfare, versus ensuring, which ensuring, is you're making sure that it's given. Securing is to make something safe, certain, or firm against attack, loss, or danger. So I don't, necessarily know we need to secure the general welfare. Promote is to encourage growth, development, and success. And that does make sense. You're promoting the general welfare. You're encouraging growth, development, and the success of the general welfare, right?
Yeah. And I think when it was written in 1789 or 1787, I think the promote the general welfare, I think that made sense back then. They specifically wanted the economy and the government to be separate. They wanted things to be self-deterministic as far as going out there, to use an overused term, to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, to and to be a contributing member of society, and grow your own wealth and resources.
Yeah.
And
And to
I think
promote
that
that, well, I
yeah,
mean, and is that any
and
different
to
now?
allow for that growth.
Yes.
What and and I Yeah, and I do think it is different now. I think because of the way that our economic structures have have grown and have changed, and the ideas behind it, and what that all means. I don't, and also the way that the economic system is intertwined within the government. I think, um, I think both institutions have a responsibility to make sure that, um, to make sure that everyone in a society is taken care of, and that their general welfare is taken care of. But as I'm saying that, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, how does an economic structure, you know, um, take care of the people that are left behind or can't take care of themselves, or um, and if it can't, or if it refuses to, which is what I kind of feel like it is the situation that we're in now.
How do you change it?
um, then how do we change it? And is that the government's job um, to force that change, or to push the change in that direction?
So, so it seems like everything that we're talking about is all over the one statement: promote the general welfare. We're good on all the other ones, right? All the other ones are, we don't have any qualms or any.
I don't think so. Um, eh, are you still having struggling with the blessings of liberty at all?
No, I wasn't struggling with that at all. It's just, it, it's it's one of those things of, you look at it, a blessing of liberty.
Yeah.
Like, you try to
Yeah.
you try to tell an 18-year-old, yeah, make sure that you keep your blessings of liberty. What?
Yeah. Kind of like, what in the hell are you talking
What
about?
does that even mean? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what? All those are your individual freedoms. Well, what is that? You know.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of those things from from the interpretation. But to promote the general welfare versus to provide the general welfare, um,
Yeah.
I think providing the general welfare is we can't. I don't know that you can change the word promote. Establish the general welfare. I mean,
That might, I actually kind of like that because I was trying to think of a different word. Especially when you frame it in the discussions we've had around, the where you create this economic floor for everyone, um, by providing them with, where everyone gets this baseline. I mean, but or you could even say establish and promote, um,
I
at
and you
that point,
can,
because yeah,
or you could do establish and ensure.
yeah,
Ensure the health, well-being, and it's the government's job to ensure the health, well-being, happiness, and prosperity of all members of society. Right?
yeah.
That's
But I
their
mean,
job.
yeah, establish in the sense of, okay, hey, this is the baseline of what you provide, but then in promote or ensure, in the idea that, like, we also want to be promoting, our economic structures, our healthcare systems, our all these other things that that are available, that are available to you, but this baseline of establishment.
See,
But
and
I,
that's
then
and that
again, I'm kind of wondering, is this something that we change in the preamble, or is it more,
exactly.
is it in the nuance of the articles, or the other, what the other things that we're going to look at?
I think that if you look promote the general welfare, this meant striving to promote health, well-being, and happiness. Health, well-being, happiness, and prosperity. But the bigger part of that is elected officials were expected to place the general welfare of who they governed ahead of personal interests. Um,
Yeah,
so essentially, everyone else before myself. Um,
yeah,
but when you look at it, being an elected official, to me, from that perspective, if you were elected by the people to do certain to represent the people, you have to represent the people whether you like what they want or not, because it's your
right.
job to represent them. So, but also from that perspective, you are one of the people.
Hmm.
So you're also representing your own views. It's just that they need to be, you know,
They have to be tempered with the rest
with
of the
everybody
people.
else. Yeah, if you're, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this is my district. Amazon wants to come here and build this data center here, and it's going to create, 1,000 jobs, but it's also going to destroy the environment from this perspective. It's going to literally, you're taking 500 acres, you're flattening it out, you're getting rid of all of the diversity that's in that environment. They're going to, the water, the cost of water is going to go up, the cost of electricity is going to go up, like all of those for your constituents. Yeah, it's bringing 1,000 jobs, and it's going to, you know, it's going to, it's a significant change to the people that you're representing.
Hmm.
And you may say, oh, well, well, this is going to be good for me. My, I'm not saying it happens, but I'm going to get a kickback, or I'm going to get a whatever.
That never happens.
You know, but also you have to look at it. It's like, is that the best overall for your citizenry, like for the people that you're representing? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it could be the best for your state, like because the area that you're representing is the only area in the state that you're in that has the ability to do that, that has the right stuff for it. You know, is are you in an area that it makes sense to do that? You know, are you going to be taking away farmland? Are you going to be taking away you know, a nature preserve or people's houses, or what is that going to do with traffic in the area? Like, there's so many different things that could cause disruption in your area because you decided that, hey, we want to build this here. Um, you know, and you get this all the time. You drive through little towns or whatever. You know, everybody has, you know, say no to the landfill. Say no to, you know, this business coming. Say no to the warehouse. Say no to the, you know, the interstate that they're building through our community. You know, I mean, you have that all the time, and usually the communities, I would say it's probably a 50-50, but they more often lose if it's the government that we're talking about.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
but it's
Well,
one of those
don't get
things.
me started on eminent domain. You know.
Well, hey, we'll get there. Um,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things to where you have to, how, like, promote the general welfare. Does that go against promoting the general welfare of your of your constituents?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's a ton of competing priorities inside of that, right?
exactly.
I'm competing needs, and it's like, and then
Well, if
in
they
my
don't build it here, it might go to another state, so you don't get that tax revenue, you don't get the development that comes with the money that you're,
yeah.
you know, coming into your state. It goes to another state, or maybe it goes to another country, or something of that nature. So, you know, it's one of those things. Well, we have to keep it here. So, do we take the hit? You know, yeah, it's going to suck for everybody that lives there. Yeah, they're going to have to do this. Yeah, there's going to be impacts we don't know about. But the alternative is we don't get any of that money. We don't get
Yeah.
any of that tax revenue. We don't get the development. We don't, like, you know, you're drawing people to the area. Well, they got to hire 1,000 people. There's not 1,000 people that live in that area that know how to run a data center. So you're going to be bringing people in, and it's going to develop the community more, right?
Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if we can.
what keeps popping.
I don't know if you can put it to where it is a given, like a provide or ensure or
Mm, okay.
secure or something. I don't know that you can do that for general welfare because you're going to have a lot of conflicts in that. Now,
Yeah. So
establish and promote. I mean,
yeah.
is it not already established? I mean,
Yeah.
general welfare. You know, you have Medicaid, Medicare, you have Social Security. You know, those things have slowly been added. You know, as time goes on, and
Yeah.
that's been part of the promote the general welfare. You know, we're collecting taxes in order to promote general welfare because when that stuff was enacted, the country was in, you know, literally in dire straits.
Yeah, but on the other side of that, you have people screaming that that Social Security should go away, and that all government welfare is the
Bad.
devil, and
It's bad.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but changing one word in a preamble to a constitution is not going to change those people's minds at the end of the day. So
exactly.
I'm one, um, and I think the argument you're trying to make is are we, and not wanting to put more words in your mouth, but it's basically like, are we splitting hairs here?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about one word. You know, I go back to what, you know, the libertarian group said on this. It's it's really well written.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it,
Yeah.
it's a
So some very smart people spent a lot of time writing this, and props to them for sure.
exactly. And so the, you know, from their perspective, it's like, yeah, this is what the preamble is. This is what the document's about, and we mean it. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds terrible, and from the progressive perspective, adding and equality,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a good ad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I think you're right.
I don't.
I agree with you. I I do like the forcefulness of the conservative one though. Just the basically like
We
if you
reaffirm.
don't if you don't and if we think that you don't mean it, we're gonna burn it to the ground. Like
We're, we do this thing. It's called we abolish and we institute a new government. It's really fun.
yeah.
Yeah, just watch.
Yeah. Hold my
Uh,
beer.
yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Hold my beer. We got this. it's, it's it's no, but it's seriously. I mean, when you look at these guys, except they weren't saying hold my beer; it was hold my tea.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's that's what happened. They were
Yeah.
like, hey guys, you know, here let me show you what you can do with that. Hold my tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
We were not kidding around about this.
yeah, it's but I like that they put this like that is a big thing. All men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain my gosh, that word unalienable.
Unalienable
Yeah.
rights.
See, you have a problem too.
Yeah.
And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, but I mean, you're talking about adding all men are created equal, and you can't like I understand it's from the Declaration, but um, and the and in order to secure these rights, we form governments, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. And whenever any form of government becomes destructive, and it's the right of the people to alter or abolish it. I mean, it's 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, this isn't rocket science here. Hey, we put you in power. It's our right to take you out of power. Um,
Yeah.
you know, laying foundation for the organizing power of such form as to them like for their safety and happiness. Like, I get that, but that's like the preamble to the Declaration of Independence. It's not the preamble to, hey, this is a document that we're going to use to our
Yeah.
govern our country. That is
Yeah.
my
It's almost like a little bit of a tantrum. It's like,
yeah.
based on, what we're going through as a society right now. It's like, hey, you guys are not, you know, the government is not living up to the promises that is kept. And yeah, it's a threat for today's government.
Mm-hmm.
I think is what it is. I don't know if it's necessarily needed in the in the preamble.
Well, I
It's almost
mean,
like a tantrum.
yeah. Well, yeah. We we the people reaffirm this, and in
Yeah.
reliance on those principles. What principles? The principle of, hey, we made you. We can take you. We can get rid of you. You
Yeah.
know, I brought you into this world. I can
Into
take
this
you out
world,
of
I
it.
can take you out.
I mean, that is essentially what this is. I brought you in.
Yeah.
I can take you. I can take you out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Uh, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like. And then this part in the preamble for the libertarian, like that should be in the articles. Like that should be like like one of the first articles. Is like, we create this document, this new government, and it should be divided into three branches, and no branch should have authority over any other branch. Should it be in the preamble? Eh,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I I think at this point, because this is just you and me talking at this point, and we're only two people.
Yeah,
I think it would be amazing to hear from, like I said, put the question out on Reddit, and
yeah,
then and see what other people are thinking, or on as many platforms as possible,
yeah.
and just
No,
be like, hey, what's
yeah,
what's
we will.
everybody's thought on this?
You know,
Um,
and the thing about it is it's I think after watching us hash all of this stuff out, like, I mean, I don't know what any other conclusion there is. I mean, you're looking at, like, you look at the what these three groups made, and I understand it and I get it, but is this the place to do it? Is the preamble, is that the?
Yeah,
I mean, I could understand putting something, but if you take the why of the preamble, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, okay? We the people of the United States say that all men are created equal and they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among, like what? I
yeah.
understand the want to reaffirm that, but it's put in here. All men are created equal is not put in the Constitution anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Um, it says secure blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. The blessings of liberty for everyone to ourselves, we the people of the United States. This saying that all men are created equal takes away from we the people of the United States.
That's an interesting take.
Because
Um,
because you're okay. There is
because we're talking
nothing
about the people as a whole, and we're trying to
correct.
form a government that works for
Correct.
all those people.
Correct.
Yeah,
So you're taking, and I understand the whole declaration. Like, they could have they could have said a lot of different things in we the people. Like, it could have not been we the people. You know, we the men of United States.
yeah.
Or the whatever. Like, we the people.
We, the 60 dudes that are in this
Yeah.
room that are about to sign this document.
We the white male landowners of the United
Right.
States. Um, there's a lot of things, and in the articles, there was the thing of the 3/5 and all of that, but that was changed, and all of that stuff. But from a preamble perspective, we the people includes everybody of the United States,
Yeah.
um, including the indigenous people. I mean, we the
Yeah.
people.
They were here too. Yeah. I mean, they're people too. I agree.
Um,
Yeah.
so having this the part of the Declaration of Independence, I don't know that it adds anything to the preamble.
It, like I said, to me, it feels more like a tantrum. I mean, I get you could probably make the argument that it gives some kind of teeth. That,
Eh,
but at the end of the day, they're just words.
put it put it
I mean,
put
eh,
it. Oh no,
and
we don't even want to get into that conversation.
and and we,
It's just words on a
I
piece of
mean,
paper. It doesn't mean crap until somebody enforces it, right?
right. Well, and especially if you look at the history of this country and the Civil War we went through 140 years ago, where it sort of disproves this statement. There was a there was half of this country that believed that it was time to abolish the uh,
The
the
government.
the rule of law and government that had been established because they were at odds with
Hmm.
um, their ideological views. And
Yep.
what was the result of that? One
Well,
one side
a,
says no, you're not going to do
a
that,
government was
and
abolished.
eh,
No,
I mean
a
a
government
government
was
was
formed.
abolished,
A
yeah,
government was
and
formed, and then it
yeah,
was abolished.
yeah,
it's,
in quick order.
I don't know how quick it was. It was a few years,
Well,
but
I guess 5 years is
yeah,
sort of a long
but
time. You know,
a government was
in
established, and then it was decided that it should be abolished, and it was
yeah.
abolished.
But in that the government that we supposedly said, hey, we can decide that we want to abolish this thing. That government came in and said, no, you're not. We're not going to abolish this. And I mean, I don't know if anybody really came out and said we're right, you're wrong. I mean, kinda.
Well,
You know,
it's
like,
okay.
but
Okay, I'm gonna
but
make a correlation, and I apologize to everybody that listens to this. You were just saying. that the conservative that like that this thing where they put this in here, it makes you feel like they're throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
So it's funny how that correlates to what happened in this country 140 years ago. You
Yeah.
essentially had people throwing a tantrum,
Agreed.
and then somebody come in and say, no, like,
Right.
like, get it together. But this is not the way that we're going to move forward, and that's what it was. Now we can get
Yeah.
into all kinds of discussions about what was right, what was wrong, how it should have been handled, how to like that, but that's not for this. We're talking about the preamble and whether or not we want to
I
change it.
Yeah, I was just using it
Oh
as
no.
an example as far as like the idea that you can just rise up and abolish a government that all these people have established and that we've agreed upon when, like I said, when 50% of the population is, and I don't know if it was 50%,
It
who
wasn't.
knows who actually, yeah. Um,
Definitely wasn't.
but well, let's say a large percentage of the population,
Yes. We can
um,
say that.
that, um, that, and they were told, no, you are, it, like you said, no,
Yep.
this is not the way that we're going to do
Nope.
things.
Not how it's going to
And
happen.
yeah, and I so it is that, you can say that. I don't know if it's really possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting in the sense that
Well, I think
this just
I think the big
because
thing
the
here,
Revolutionary War is the exact same thing. The
yeah,
outcome was just the opposite.
I think the thing here is though is that I don't believe it was the people that rose up against the government.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think it was the
suppose.
constituents that that were yeah. I don't think
Yes.
that I think that that was part of the issue is that it wasn't necessarily the constituents that were rising up and saying no we don't want this. I think that there was a smaller percentage of
Yes.
the constituents, a certain type of constituent that was saying that we don't want this to change. We want the ability to do this. And they then brought everybody along with them. And, and that's what happened. Um,
Sure.
Again, I am not a Civil War historian. I am not but in,
And dude, I'm not disagreeing with you. I
I'm
was
just
only
saying,
arguing it from the point of,
I don't think that there were hundreds of thousands of people in D.C. protesting what was going on. Is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Essentially,
yeah, I
what it
got
was is you had some people that coordinated militias, and yeah, and there is a reason why I believe that they lost is because it wasn't they created a hatred uh,
you.
for
Yeah,
for reasons that are I don't think that it was a warranted hatred personally.
right. You're,
I
you're
think it was.
being incredibly politically correct right now. Like
I
I
think
just gotta say,
I think that there were many different ideals that were involved in that, and I think if they would have had the backing of a majority of the people for reasons that they said that they were doing it, that they probably could have been successful, but they didn't.
you know what?
Uh oh.
Was
Oh yeah, you're a little. Oh no, we've been
yeah, yeah.
going for 2 hours, and you're finally starting to. Well, I guess that's the end of the conversation since Josh here. I mean, it's either Josh or me. I don't know. It's one of us.
How am I now?
You're still bad. See, you shouldn't have went on vacation. You shouldn't have left your
Mm,
house. Um,
I know.
Hopefully it'll get better.
Is
Um,
that?
you're still all kinds of messed
Is
up.
that any better?
I can hear you a little better, but the video's not. But
I'm
it's
trying to shut down anything that would be using.
yeah. I'm wondering if it's you or me. But anyways, so while
Oh, it's definitely me.
Josh is trying to fix his network connectivity issues. Um, no, so going back on this, we'll put the poll out there. I don't know exactly what the poll's going to say, but we'll put it out on our social platforms, um, Blue Sky, Twitter, Reddit. We'll put it out there and see what the people think. But I have a feeling that we're coming to an agreement that after all of this stuff, it's that the preamble is pretty damn good. Pardon my French, but I think that there's some good thoughts on that the different progressive libertarian and conservatives had
Is
come
that
up
any
with.
better?
You're getting there. You're still a little flaky, but
Hmm.
no, you're. It's a lot better now. Is your internet just having some problems?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I switched to a different room's Wi-Fi. Long story.
Okay. It's a little better. You're still a little janky, but it's I can actually hear you a little bit. Okay, maybe not. So, um, I don't know. I'd like to ask Josh if he has any more he'd like to add and talk about, but I don't know that pleasures of streaming. So we will go. We'll update our Reddit. We will send out some polls. We'll see what everybody thinks. But I think we've come to the conclusion we don't need to change anything in the preamble. I think the preamble stays what it is. It pretty much covers everything. Even just the one word adding equality that doesn't sit right. Uh, Secure blessings of liberty and equality. Individual secure the blessings of individual rights and equality. That's tough. But we'll put polls out there. See what everyone thinks. I think what we'll do is we'll take the three progressive, or take um, the progressive, the libertarian, and the conservative. We will put a poll out, and we will put a leave it as is, and we will. Oh, we lost him. We lost him, folks. Hopefully, he'll come back. Um, so what we'll do is we'll put that poll out there, see what everybody thinks, and next week we will start on Article One. Article One. This is going to be fun. Oh, we might have him back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
I do like
okay.
I do like we
Hold
have
on. Come back.
we have chair stream. There we go. Oh, it might be better for you to just turn off the
Hey,
video.
still bad though?
Oh, oh wait, yeah, there you're. No,
Okay.
might just be better for you to turn off your camera and see if we can just do voice.
All right. How's that?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
Is my voice in here?
it breaks up. It does a robot every now and again. So hey, we got a
Yeah.
good we got a good almost
All
three
right.
hours out of it. So
Yeah. I'll take it.
um, but no, I don't know how much you heard.
All right.
We'll put the polls out. We're gonna do four different ones. We'll
No, you
do.
were.
Go Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you were wrapping out.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Um,
saying you were wrapping up. I don't think I have anything to add at this point. I feel kind of the same as you. I don't think there's much to add. I like to hear what other people have to say. I think
Definitely.
see where our blind spots are, see some other perspectives. But as far as you and I go, I feel pretty good about the conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there was some great conversation. I enjoyed it, and I think that
Hopefully, everybody else did too.
yeah, hopefully they liked it. Um, if not, I mean, you don't have to watch. It's that easy.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll put that out there, and
it's true.
then we will see everybody next week um, for our discussion on Article One. I believe is what we're. This is going to be fun. We'll be going through Article One. We will again
Uh,
probably use the three Constitution drafts that different groups made up. Look at the differences between them. Get some ideas and some thoughts on what Article One looks like. For those that don't know, Article One is essentially establishing the Congress, the government. We'll look at Article One, and I don't know how far we'll get through it, but yeah, we will. We will talk next week. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate everybody hanging out. And if you didn't get to watch our stream, hopefully you will next week. But we'll always have this up on YouTube, and we'll let everybody know when we're going live. Next Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.